knees mixing dough, I love sing melody. Cinnamon rolls and coconut pies, sweet treats under tropical blue skies. Oh, the Gringo baker has found his sweet spot, trading snowflakes for rain and enjoying it a lot. With flour on his hands and sugar in his hair, he'll make you wish that you were.
Good evening. Welcome to the Gringo Baker. I see me moving, but I don't see sound. I don't see my mouth moving. What the heck is going on with that? Anyway, just on the outside chance that, okay, wait a minute. All right. Yeah, I see I'm on. Hi, Linda. Now, I don't know where I am with watching this, so I think my problem is I'm watching the YouTube. So let me switch back to what I should be looking at there. Okay, now tonight we're going to make air fryer brownies. I have the air fryer warming up, and it's going to 320. And I'm using the air fryer because here in Puerto Rico, the cost of electricity is so high that running the electric stove oven is terrible. So I made the batter yesterday so that it could be refrigerated. And what I'm going to do, I'm using a silicone pan, and it's actually wow, it's pretty thick. It was refrigerated overnight, and I can tell you I have sound because I have an earpiece in my ear that is driving me crazy. It's way behind what I'm actually saying. This is thick. So I started to say I'm using a silicone pan, which I never use because it fits in my air fryer really, really, really good. But it's a weird shape for brownies because it's round. And it's actually the, I guess you'd call it an overshoe for my springform pan when I make cheesecake. So I'm going to spread this out as best I can here. I think you might like to see what I'm doing. And so I've lost my chat. So I got to go back and fix that in a minute, but I need to get this in the air fryer before it really warms up, because the air fryer is going to cook differently than an oven. So we don't want it to be too thin, nor do we want it to be too thin in the pan. We don't want it to be too liquid. And if it warms up, it's going to get a lot more liquid than it is currently. I think I was concerned it might make some extra thin brownies, but I think they're actually going to be a pretty good thickness. All right, let's try to. Now I did lube the pan up a bit. And so now I'm going to set this pan in the air fryer. And it's pretty centered, so we'll do that. And then we're going to adjust the time somewhat. We're going to go to 15 minutes. I think that'll be a good place to start because I have no clue what we're actually cooking here as far as time goes. Now I'm kind of wishing that I had turned on my chat in the first place so that I could see it. But I can't see it, so Hang on a minute and I'll fix it when I'm actually showing you something else. As a matter of fact, what is going on in my ear? What are you guys hearing? I don't know what I'm listening to, which means I don't know what you're listening to. Let me bring chat back. Hi, everybody. I got chat back. But I need a keyboard to actually fix this. So hang on a minute. Now I'm actually hearing a science experiment from in the past. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know what you guys are hearing, but okay. So now I want to be. I guess I can be here. The Windows right key. There we go. And on this side, I can bring up OBS, and that should be working now. I'm not sure it is, but okay. So I got top chat showing here, and I don't want that. I want live chat. And I don't know why this is doing this. That's actually replaying something from back a ways ago, I think. Well, it says live May 17th, so where the heck is my chat? This is upsetting. I had everything working perfectly well, and now it's not. Okay, now that looks like what it should look like, I think, in the window there, but I'm currently not getting chat, and I don't understand that. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like everything is streaming as it should. All right, so let's see if that shows me anything. Yep, there we go. All right, so this is going to cook for now 12 minutes, and then we'll check it with some toothpicks and see if it's doing okay. While that is doing that, though, why don't I show you making the batter yesterday? And first I have to find out what I did with it. Actually, I don't see it. Okay, so I need you guys to chat so I can tell if things are working. And I'm not seeing any chat past when Cheryl said, "I just hear you." Let me try refresh. And that didn't change. Oh. Yep, that's the last chat I see. Okay, so I can't figure out what happened to the batter videos yet. So let me. So why are we? You still hear me? Good. Okay, so let me show you one of the quick tips for today. When blind baking a pie, you want to take a piece of parchment paper, crunch it up a couple of times. That's going to make it really flexible. And then you can put it inside the uncooked pie crust, like that, and then dump your pie weight in the pan. So that is the quick tip for now. I'd really like to know what I did with the batter video. Okay, so what this is an experiment in making brownies in the air fryer, as I said, because brownies in the air fryer, which are smelling good now, should be a good way to make them. For one thing, it's quick. For another, it's a whole lot cheaper than running an electric oven. And I could run the gas oven here and make them, but it's already 95.7. And then that's warm enough. I just assume it didn't get any warmer than that. I would like to figure out what exactly I was listening to, because I was hearing one of the science experiments from very early on. Speaking of experiments, I got to show you a short that I made yesterday. I got this thing about measuring flour, as you know. I've done a couple videos about them. And yesterday I was in a hurry when I was making that batter, so I just scooped the flour. And then when I got it in the bowl, I said, I wonder if that really is 3 cups. So I got out my dry measuring cup, and I got my bench scraper so I could level it off. And well, I'll show you what I did.
If you measure flour like this, you're doing it wrong, and I'll show you why.
There should be sound.
Now what we'll do is spoon it into the same measuring cup that we used to put it in this bowl. We're going to spoon it in, a spoonful at a time, and then after we do that, we'll take our bench scraper and level it off. And that's 1 cup. Now let's do it for the second cup. It's the same thing, we just spoon them all in here, filling in all the holes in the cup so that we know the cup is full. And then we'll level it off again. And that's 2. Now this should be the third and final cup. Theoretically, if we measured correctly in the first place, this bowl will be empty when we're done here. This is the third cup, and we've got just about totally full now, and we'll level it off. And now we've got 3 level cups in the second bowl, and we have all of this left in this bowl. Let's see just how much extra flour we have here. We'll do the same thing. We'll just spoon it into the measuring cup, which is easier said than done. Then we'll get this last little bit, and then we'll see how much extra flour we got. Okay, you can see that is more than a half cup. That's at least 2/3, maybe 3/4 of a cup more flour than we needed in our 3 cups of flour. That shows you that you need to be really careful how you choose to measure your flour, because too much flour is going to make your baked goods.
Okay, so you can see I got a lot of extra flour. Hi, Marilyn. I got a lot of extra flour, scooping it out of the bag. Enough so that it would really throw off recipe. This brownie recipe they'd not be quite so good with that much flour in them. Um, so that's definitive proof that you probably shouldn't just scoop out of the bag. One of the commenters on that video said they fluff it up with a whisk and then they scoop. That's a little bit better, but it's not quite as good as doing it this way. And of course, even that is not as good as weighing the flour. And I'll admit that I very seldom weigh flour unless the recipe has all the ingredients listed by weight. And I think I'm going to make more than once, then I probably will weigh the ingredients because I have a nice little scale. And I probably will weigh the ingredients and make it so that it's repeatable. If I weigh everything, then I know I'm going to have the exact same amount next time. Okay, and I did find the batter video, but it's going to take me a little minute to actually get it so you can see it. So we won't do that right now. We got 4 minutes until we are going to be checking these brownies with a toothpick at 15 minutes. And ouch, stabbed myself with a bunch of toothpicks. That one actually stuck. Hey, Slug. I'm glad you made it here for this one. I was looking for you last week and you weren't here. So, and actually last week I wasn't feeling well and we ended kind of early. So I wasn't sure that you didn't make it, but I'm glad you're here. That makes me feel good. All right, so one of the things we do every week, which I hope you don't find annoying, is I'm reading my list over here. Oh, okay. I have a number pad here that I have to press to change the scenes. And I'm going to show you my Buy Me a Coffee ad.
Are you enjoying the show? If you are, you can be a Gringo Baker backer and support the show by buying me a cup of coffee. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Now, if you know me, you know I don't drink coffee. I haven't had a cup of coffee in 60 years at least. But what that is just so if you feel inclined, you can make a donation, however small or however large, to the Gringo Baker, and I use that to buy software, upgrade software, and equipment. Okay, so we've got 2 minutes left until we can check the brownies. So I'm trying to look and see what we can do at this point. All right. Let's see. Well, you know what? I'm going to talk for a minute because we've got 1 minute left. And then when the 1 minute is up, we'll check it. And then that'll reset our clock probably for a few more minutes. And while that's going on, I can show you something else. But if I start it now, it'll take too long. And this will be past checking. Okay. We're going, not right now, but in a little while, we're going to show one of the small channel of the week features that we did early on. And the reason I'm doing it tonight is primarily because I think that we have some new viewers and they should also be introduced to the channels that we've already talked about. And this one's pretty interesting. So actually, I guess they all are, or I wouldn't pick them. Okay, this thing says the time is up. So let's check. Well, it feels better than it looks, because let's see. For some reason, the time. Let's do it this way. I'm not entirely familiar with this air fryer, believe it or not. But for some reason, I don't seem to, there it goes. Now I shut it off, so what I'm going to do is turn this dial for minutes. We don't need a couple of hours. Wow, what's going on here? Oh, okay, I turned it past air fryer. I'm giving it another 10 minutes and then we'll check it again. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a video that's actually on YouTube that I did some time ago because it's in the kitchen in my house. How to make whipped cream, because whipped cream goes just absolutely fantastically with uh, brownies. And that's not looking right. That is not how to make whipped cream. This is kind of a comedy of errors here tonight. I just set that up and it was playing exactly the correct video. So what it's making now, I don't know. So let's do the small channel of the week. This, like I say, is one we've seen before. So I hope you enjoy it.
So, if banana bread and chocolate chip cookies had a baby, it would be this soft cookie right here. These banana tahini chocolate chip cookies are filled with rich tahini, sweet banana and maple syrup, as well as warm chocolate chips kind of bursting throughout it. It's so good. And they're vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, and absolutely delicious. Hi, I'm Melanie with Inspired Epicurean, and today we are making a delicious soft cookie, banana tahini chocolate chip cookies. If you're new here, we share vegan recipes and sustainability tips for a greener, more vibrant future.
Okay, well, I can't figure out how it switched to something other than what it was supposed to be, but it has. And that's, well, right, there we go. Okay, so, hi, Louisa. How was your flight home? I do have to admit that every week I think I've got this show, it's going to be great, nothing's going to go wrong. Yeah, as it happens, anything live can go wrong. And it's just, grin and bear it and see what we can do to overcome it. Boy, it smells good in here. Whew. Oh, good. I'm glad your flight was good. All right. So, I got to admit, I'm at a little bit of a loss here without everything working as it should. I came over here early today so that I knew that all the camera changes and all the scenes and all of that stuff were working well. but somehow between that chair and standing here, it did something different. I am having fun. I thoroughly enjoy doing these lives. Thoroughly enjoy doing it. I can't imagine how much fun it's going to be when there is no problem doing it. Uh, this week, at least, it doesn't seem like we're having any sound problems. So I guess we've made some headway over the last couple of weeks, like 3. I'm still laughing about last week when I said if my so let's do a sound check. If my throat sounds like it's a sore throat, your sound is working perfectly. And 2 minutes later, my microphone died. Makes me pretty nervous because I can't see the light on them. Even on the monitor screen, I can't see the light. So that's why I hooked up that sound monitor tonight, which is direct wired to the speaker jack on the computer. And, in all the tests, that worked perfectly. And then when I tried it live, something else is playing in the background. So I could hear myself talking, and I could also hear the something else that's going on in the background. Now I gave this 10 minutes, it's been 5, so I'm going to take another check here. Ouch. I think it needs to cook the other 5 minutes. It's coming out kind of more cakey than I really thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to rise up much because it only has a half a teaspoon of baking powder in it. Yeah, true. It wasn't built in a day, and I'll tell you, lately I haven't been spending as much time in here during the week because it is hot in here. The other day I was in here making a pie, and it went just over 100 degrees, and that's pretty hot. So I really don't want to do it, but I'm thinking that I might just pack up everything and move back to the house for the summer because it's not even really as hot as it's going to be by a long ways here yet. Um, I don't know that we've seen a 100-degree day yet. And in the summertime, we get some that are over 110. So this place, I don't think I'll have to put anything in the oven to cook it. I think it's going to just cook. So we'll see what happens. But the house is air conditioned, so it's still not really cool in there, but it's a whole lot cooler than it is in here. And I can't really air condition this place, so the best I've got is the ceiling fan over there, and behind me, where supposedly you can't hear it, there's a fan raised up so it's blowing on my back. And that's why I'm not wearing the Gringo Baker t-shirt lately. I wear shirts that are lighter than those so that fan does more good than if I have the Gringo Baker t-shirt on. But speaking of Gringo Baker t-shirts, I do have them available. That I hope that's 17 and 20 Celsius. Speaking of available, I do have the shirts and the aprons available. And we've changed the process somewhat. Now it's printed with a big printer so that the edges are much more precise. I think this was printed on that too because of the size. They told me today that they can only do the big ones with that printer, and they're pretty big. They're more than a foot long because I want people to see them. In fact, when I go into stores now, every once in a while, somebody will say, "Hey, I saw you on YouTube." And of course, my wife's always saying, "You tell everybody that you're on YouTube." And I say, "Yeah, I do, because I want everybody to know, because I want people to watch it. And the more people watching, the more fun it is for me." So that's why. So it's like you got to tell me that is 17 to 20 Celsius, right? A hot day here could hit over 115, and it's always super humid. That's the biggest thing with air conditioning in the house. It's still very, very warm comparatively to, like back in the States. But the humidity in the kitchen without the air conditioning probably runs 70%. With the air conditioning on, I noticed this morning that it was 32%. The other day with the air conditioning on, it was 29%. That makes a wicked difference because then your sweat evaporates before you really sweat. And here, it doesn't evaporate. My shirt under this apron is pretty damp. Okay, this is down to a minute. Theoretically, this might be done. I'm going to get my hot mats out here, hot mitts, whatever you want to call the things, because now we're under a minute. And I'll tell you what, they smell great. And I can't wait to taste it to tell you if you like them or not, because you're gonna. I do. I don't use just straight regular Hershey's cocoa. I use a. I use a combination, half and half. Special dark. Now that feels right, and it's cracking on the top. So I'm gonna say it's done. I don't get any tracking on my hand here. So let's shut that off. I'm gonna let it sit in there just for another minute. It doesn't need the oven anymore, but just for another minute. What does that translate to? 17 and 20. Is that like 60, 70? Lost track of my mind there. Forgot what I was saying. That happens, when you get older, that sort of thing does happen. And you may have noticed I am not a spring chicken. Okay, so that's been another minute. I'm going to bring that out, hopefully without burning my hand or anything. That lid is awful heavy hanging out over the end of the counter there. Well, you know what? I should have thought ahead on this one. Ouch. Because I can't pick it up. 62 to 68. Yeah, that's I'm actually from Maine. So in the summer, maybe once, we might see high 90s, maybe twice. But here, all summer, we're going to see more than 90 and probably 100 or more for the entire summer until like September. Now I'm debating how I'm going to pick that up because that hot mat, actually, I got it. Let me show you what this looks like. There is our brownies. Are you in the state? Oh, okay, Newfoundland, Canada. I think no, I was going to say I think that's where my ancestors are from, but some of them. But actually, it was Nova Scotia. So I can say a. Yeah, that's the word, right? But I can't say a boot. It's a boat. It's a boot. 70s. And I don't care too much for hockey, so I guess I don't have much Canadian blood in me. Oh my God, those smell good. I'm actually quite pleased with the way it looks, but I don't know how to cut round brownies. Gotta admit it. I think I'm just gonna square it up. But genius that I am, I didn't bring a knife over here. I'm gonna let that cool just a couple minutes before I actually bite into it. But yeah, I wish you did too. And I wish you had the video that I showed how to make whipped cream that you can't see because it's playing something on a hot plate. And we know you don't use a hot plate to make whipped cream. Some of that with one of these, or maybe some vanilla ice cream with one of these. That'd be pretty incredible. Yeah, I thought about pie shapes and triangles, but yeah, I'm not sure I want to do that because then it's going to be pie, not a brownie. So let me see if I can cut a piece of this. It's probably a little too early to be cutting it. It feels kind of a little bit cakey. It looks a little bit cakey. Maybe if it had cooked in a square pan, which was the original plan I was going to do, was a square pan, but then I decided I would try this round shape. I'm going to give it a taste. Hang on, guys. You're going to see if you like this. Did I read a book a few months ago about a tremendous explosion in one of the harbors in Newfoundland? I know it was in Canada, and I think it was maybe in Newfoundland. It was a massive explosion with a ship that was loaded with ammunition, I believe. So I wanted to talk some more about Inspired Epicurean. I think she has quite a website. I've actually checked out a few of her videos, not website, YouTube page, channel. And I've checked out several of her videos, and I like her work. But again, like I say every time, if you guys know of someone that has a small channel, or you know of a channel that you think I should check into and perhaps feature, Halifax, yeah, that was it. Then tell me about it. Let me know. You know, doing this, if I do this every week and I do a show every week, that's 52 channels that I need to find and be informed about. And I've still got the earbud in my ear. I thought something felt weird there. So now let me try plugging it in again. Nope, something's playing on the computer. Now, something else that's different in this brownie is I made it with a little bit of evaporated milk, thinking it was going to give it a richer taste, and it did. These are very, very good. My wife is going to love these. So in a few minutes, she'll actually get to taste them. So as I was saying, if anybody has a channel or knows of a channel they think I should look into and perhaps feature contact the owner of, let me know. You can either leave me a comment or you can send me an email, and the email is lgringobaker@gmail.com. And let's see. I really wish that that would have played. Oh, as we do every week, it's time to take a look at the crew. And as I say every week, these are some busy people normally. This week, because I was sick a good lot of the week, they weren't as busy as normal, but they were a little bit busy. So I'm back. So my geography kind of stinks, but Newfoundland is on the east side of Canada, right? They are a hard-working bunch. They're poorly paid too, and they still do it. And when I say poorly paid, I mean not paid. Um, I have enough subscribers to YouTube to actually start making ad revenue. I'm way away on watch hours. And truthfully, the watch hours is why I started doing these. That's what I thought, the furthest eastern. That's why I started doing live, is because I heard that they really add to your watch time. So I started doing them and discovered that I really, really like doing the lives. There's a lot of challenge to it, actually, trying to make everything work, which I obviously haven't quite achieved yet. And when I do, I'm not sure I'll know what to do if I have a show that actually runs 100% without an issue. I mean, every show has issues. Some of them I can overcome, and you, the viewer, never know there was an issue. Some of them, like videos that don't play when they should, you know about those. Sound that doesn't work, you know about that. But when there's just the tiny little hiccups, those are not a problem, and overcoming them is actually part of the fun. Not as much fun as talking with you guys, not as much fun as figuring out what I'm going to show in a show, assuming it works. But the whole thing is just, I really, really enjoy this. There's been a lot of refinement in the system to this point, and there's more coming. I'm wired tonight. I was plugged in, but and that's because everything I ordered from Amazon. Really, I remember Leroy. Um, um, I'm plugged in tonight when I'm plugged in, because all of the things from Amazon that were supposed to be here haven't arrived yet. The earbuds did. The wireless transmitter and receiver did not. And when that's here, I will be able to monitor the sound without being wired, so I can easily move around. I'm still trying to convince somebody that he would enjoy helping me do these, because he could get to do the technical side. And then things like this video not playing could probably be fixed while I'm doing the behind the counter work here. But we'll see if that ever happens. Let's see. I enjoy a challenge, and this whole YouTube experience started from a challenge. Actually, I was trying to make biscuits, and I made 14 attempts before I got good biscuits, and I was so proud of those because they're like this tall. that I made a YouTube video, and that was May, I think, of 2022. So that's where it all started from. And it, as I've said it probably every week, it started right here in this kitchen. This house was where my wife and I first lived when we moved to Puerto Rico. And at that point, we hadn't moved to Puerto Rico. We came here for a over the winter visit. And we were snowbirding, so to speak. And she came down for like a month or so every winter. And I, in 36 years of being married at that point, I think I'd been here probably 3 times. So the longest time maybe was 2 weeks. And I'm not even sure that it was longer than a week. So in the spring of 2021, she said, you know, when I go to Puerto Rico this year, you should go with me, and we should go early, close the house and stay there for 6 months. And I said, why would I want to go to Puerto Rico for 6 months? And then she hit me with the economic advantages of not having a house that we were heating in Maine in the winter. And I decided, yeah, well, I can. And then she told me that her family was all betting that I wouldn't stay here longer than, I think it was 3 weeks was the longest bet. And I said, okay, I'm in. So we stayed here 7 months and bought a house. Went back to Maine, stole that one, and have lived here ever since, and modified the heck out of our house, which is about 200 feet that way. And in between is my mother-in-law's house. So it worked out really, really well. My wife was able to stay here and help take care of her father. And that was really, really good for him and for her. So, and Puerto Rico is absolutely beautiful. The only thing I don't really enjoy in Puerto Rico is the drivers. I say all the time, Puerto Ricans are wonderful people, unless you put a steering wheel in their hand, and then they're not so special anymore. But anyway, that's just me griping. I'm not sure I've got anything else to show you tonight with things that are not working. My second tip didn't work, but I can tell you what that one was. In the future, you'll see it anyway. But when you blind bake a pie, and the reason you put that parchment paper, as I showed in the tip I did show, is so you can put pie weights in there. It's actually, I'll get to that in a minute. It's like, you have to put pie weights in there, and ceramic pie weights are expensive. And then I read that you can use dry beans or rice, and it seemed to me that rice was too much trouble to pick it all back out of there, and dry beans probably would work, and they're pretty cheap. I have used the same couple of pounds of dry beans for probably 3 years, maybe a little more than that. And now they're dark brown color, but they work just perfectly fine. So if you need pie weights, that's the way to go. And I started to say that this was the kitchen that the YouTube channel started in. So it's only fitting back here. Actually, we don't live in a family compound type of thing. It's a gated community, and it just happened that the house across the street came up for sale while we were here. So we were able to buy it. I thought my wife was going to faint when I told her that I agreed we could buy it. And we really enjoy it. Us and our 2 dogs and our kids come and visit. It's really, really fun. And my one sister-in-law lives close by, and brother-in-laws live pretty close. So it is a lot of fun. Okay, so we're at about not quite 50 minutes. I didn't get to see those drivers when I came down. Oh, I did get to see. Yeah, the roads aren't too special either. In most of the parts of the world that I've been in, when there's a manhole and they pave the road, they either raise the manhole up and pave up to it, or they remove asphalt and then pave even with the top of the manhole. Here, you might find a manhole that's 4 or 5 inches down because they pave down to them. So it's you can find potholes in some horrendous places. Very rarely do they make them actually flush. Yeah, it seemed that way. And it's worked out really, really well. So, and I absolutely love my mother-in-law, so that helps too. She's a sweet lady. Okay, so we can continue to talk, or we can end it at this point in time if you, whichever way you guys want to go. Because you may not have noticed, but I can talk all night long. Might not make any sense, might even get a little boring, but I can talk. And pretty much to anybody. My wife gets upset when I go in the store and I start talking to people. Although the other day we went to Goodwill and I was just standing there on my phone waiting for her and her sisters to get done shopping. And this guy talked to me. And of course, once you start talking to me, you better hang on. But um, they were making fun of me after that, thinking that I started the conversation. Yeah, um, I know about those springtime potholes because in Maine, you get a lot of springtime potholes and frost heaves, and I'm sure you guys get frost heaves as well. In fact, my oldest son was born shortly after we hit a frost heave when my wife was about a month past her due date. So just a day or two after that, he was born. Um, those frost heaves are really fun, all the way across the road pothole. I used to drive a plow truck in Massachusetts, and after I quit, somebody else was driving it, and they hit a bridge expansion joint. Did a whole lot of damage to that old B model Mac. I was really glad that it wasn't me. You must. How do you guys get potholes in Louisiana? Pulled pork nachos. Well, now that sounds pretty interesting, but I think I'd probably rather have the pulled pork on toasted hamburger buns. I don't know though. I might have to try that one day. I haven't made pulled pork in quite some time, so I need to make some more. I really like that stuff. Pork is the meat here in Puerto Rico. They can cook pork more ways and so good. I just saw a little heart go floating up. What was that? No, it couldn't have been. I think they totaled the truck, if I recall correctly. It was an old B model Mac, and um, it was just old, and it was only suitable for pushing the plow around. And most of the guys that drove the plows there, I used to be amazed. I'd be like 6 trucks back on a 4-lane road, and they weren't getting the whole road. And I had the smallest plow, and it was a 10-footer. Um, some of them would be riding along with their plow up a couple of inches. Now, why am I seeing hearts? It always amazed me that they couldn't clean the whole road, but it was because they were instructed to not push the snow clear, so they'd spend more time doing that. Um, I got sent out one time when it had stopped snowing and it was just raining, and I'm out there with a plow truck, and I can't tell you how many times people gave me a one-finger salute because they felt like their tax money was being pretty much wasted, and it pretty much was. I did that job for, I think, 2 winters as a part-time job, and I finally got tired of the stupid regulations with it. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see the heart down in the corner, but who's clicking on it? That pulled pork does sound pretty good. Typically, I haven't had dinner yet. I had a peanut butter and jam sandwich for lunch, which is a really common lunch for me. I really like PB&Js, and I have them now on 12 grain bread. So it's a really hearty sandwich. When I was in high school, I think, living in mid-Maine, uh, our plow truck came down the road one day. We lived on a dirt road, and well, thanks, Cheryl. Um, we lived on a dirt road, and just before our house, it opened up. There was a field on both sides, but the field on the right-hand side, if you were coming from town, had a little hill first before the field. So the snow would pile up there. And after one particular storm, I'm going to say it was 1966, which was a wicked winter. The plow truck came down the road and hit the bank where it had piled up there on that hill and went flying out into the field and could not plow the road. We were plowed in for, I can't remember if it was 4 days or 6 days, but it was one or the other. And they finally plowed it with a bulldozer. And they cleared us out with that. But that was the only time we moved there when I was 10, and I moved out when I went to the Army at 18. So that was the only time in 8 years that we were ever actually snowed in for multiple days. And at that time, after they plowed the road, you could walk the snowbank and look down on the power line. So the snow was so deep. In the back of our house, the back door, we went out and opened the door, and all you could see is snow, because the house was kind of a T shape, and it went over the roof and just piled up in the corner. And I got to tell you, it doesn't snow in Puerto Rico, and I don't miss it, and I am never going to miss it. When I was young, um, the first winter I ever spent away, I was in Vietnam, and I really did miss the winter. But as they say, I was young and foolish. Now I'm not so foolish, and I don't miss winter at all. Not at all. I don't like being cold. I don't like messing with snow. Um, I don't like paying to heat a house. All that sort of thing. Yeah, we um we had winters like that where you'd get feet of snow. Not so much now. They talk about climate change, but like like it's worse. But as far as my experience goes, generally it's not. Snowmageddon. Yep, that's a lot of snow. I would have to say that if I lived now where it snowed that much, I'd probably not live now where it snowed that much. I'd probably move it out. I was a little hesitant coming here in the first place, but now that I've been here for just about 5 years, um, I'm not leaving, especially not leaving to go back to New England. If I ever go back to the States, it'll be someplace warm where I can fish. All right, now. Okay, so we're just about to the end of the show. We've actually made it to pretty much an hour. I think we're at 58 minutes. And the target time is 1 hour. So thank you guys for hanging in there for an hour. I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed talking with you all. I wish the other aspects of the show that it was supposed to have worked. It might have been a little more interesting for you. And I'll make sure that next week they do. And next week, I think I'm going to make a banana cream pie. I have some bananas from my tree, and they're probably going to be maybe too ripe by then. So I'll probably end up making banana bread with those and getting some from the store and making some banana pie. But I have another tree that's got some bananas coming up, so they may be timing right for the pie. And so that should be next week. We'll have another small channel, and we'll have tips that actually work. And I'll be taking that computer over to my house and set up the whole show during the week so that I can test things that work several times, so that we don't get the experience I got tonight where they worked once and they didn't work again when I needed them to. So again, thanks everybody for coming by. Thank you. As I said, I like to talk, and I can talk. And so if somebody has ears, they're unfortunately stuck with listening to me going on about anything. Now there is, let's see, where is it? Oh, okay. All right. So again, thanks very much, and I'll see you next Sunday at 6:30. Oh, and the Sunday after that, there will be a show, and it will be at 6:30, but it'll be remote. I'll be in Florida. I think I'm going to make a food that is called pinchos, which are little chunks of pork on skewers on a grill. And the marinade for them is something different. And I'll be explaining all of that then. So thanks, and good night, and we'll see you next week.
On the snowy hills where the pine trees stand tall.
Oh, I didn't change the date.
To a busy town where the Coquis call.